Welcome to the Bad Parents Podcast. My name is Johnny Garbett.
I'm Shauna.
And I'm Ryan.
Still no last names.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Oh, that's right.
My son peed on me last night.
Oh, it's nice and warm, though.
I smelled it this morning.
Huh?
So it wasn't like stream to skin. Instead, he came to our bed late last night and he wasn't feeling 100%. And I woke up in the middle of the night and I'm like, I feel wet because I was wearing like a tank top and some shorts. Because sleeping naked now with kids is just, you can't do it. So I felt this wet patch on my back and my thigh. And I'm like, just please don't be puke. And then I noticed I like put my hand around my back because I was on my side and I like felt him and he was wet. I'm like, okay, so he's peed on me. I couldn't timestamp it because it wasn't like direct, right? Like he peed himself, then through osmosis, his urine just engulfed what I was wearing in my clothes. And then so like and we got him up and the whole bed. Yeah, I'm like, how much water did you happen to drink? And so that was that. And I said to him, I said, listen, if you don't get any better, you're not going to be able to go for Halloween, right? Because you can't send kids out sick for Halloween.
You threatened him with Halloween because he's sick?
Yeah. No, I feel like it's like if you're going to, like Tiger Woods' is dad, right? Like put him on a golf course every day. Hey, if you don't hit 1,000 balls, you're not going to be a professional golfer.
Right.
So if you don't get better, you're not going in for Halloween. Therefore, it's lighting the fire underneath him to get better.
Tough but fair, I guess.
No, it's not.
Listen, I sent a real message to his immune system to get his shit in order.
Wow. Now, I understand if you had that attitude at 2 a.m. when it happened, but this is many hours later. You're
was that
still
dinner?
upset.
It was that dinner after school.
What
Yeah,
sucks
today.
about peeing the bed is that you have to take care of it right away, right? Like certain things in the night, you can kind of worry about them. What, do you just put a towel over it?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, it was a concerted effort by both my wife and I, but what to do, and it was lay towels down.
Okay, so, Shauna, you have a psych degree? Mm-hmm. I peed the bed late in life. Why?
How late?
15, high school.
Well,
And then later on, it was a different type of situation. Which I did that at 40, by the way. The old wet dream.
What?
40 years old!
Well, that's probably okay. I think you have attachment issues.
I think so, too.
Yeah.
I think you do have attachment issues.
Does Jack have attachment issues?
His urine was attached to my skin last night. So I said, hey, if you don't go for Halloween, maybe you're not going to get any of this gross candy. A new study by Shiny Smiles Veneers surveyed over 1,000 people to find the most hated and loved candies of the season. We are definitely into the spooky season. I'm going to say, do you like or dislike these treats? Can you think about what the number one
Guaranteed.
hated candy that you receive at Halloween is?
100% I know what the answer is.
It's the kiss.
No, it's the candy corn.
Ding, ding, ding. Ryan Parker with the attachment issues for the win.
Thank you.
Well, you know the one I'm talking about.
The Hershey's Kiss?
No, it's the molasses one. They're called kisses, and they're wrapped in the Halloween paper, and they're horrible. They're molasses candy.
That sounds disgusting.
It is.
I didn't know that's what they were called.
Is that just a Canadian candy? Because it did
Maybe.
make the list. This is an American list, but I think we can all agree that candy corn is the grossest sort of candy.
Yes.
Number 2 is hot tamales,
Oh, yeah.
which
Gross.
doesn't sound too bad. Jawbreaker. And then one that I'm really upset about that I see on this list is Peeps.
Oh,
And-
the little chicky things?
And when I hear Peeps, I hear Easter.
Yeah.
And I want Peeps at Easter. When you start cross-pollinating and cross-branding something that is so Easter, you've just lost me, and I don't like you.
Are they ghost-shaped peeps?
They might be. I'm not sure. They don't have a picture for it.
Is anything? I know you're going on about candy, and we'll get back to that. I just
Will we?
Side note. Well, I'm a divergent thinker.
With attachment issues.
Correct. UNICEF still a thing or no? Kids come around looking for coins.
Like, is there still need in the world for UNICEF
I'm
to
sure
help
there's still need,
people?
but like it was a big deal when we were children.
Sure.
Right?
The box around your neck?
Totally.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that UNICEF is still a thing. I don't necessarily think that kids come around with boxes. And when I take my kids around, I don't see like the bowl of change at the front door that they would do dimes and nickels and whatnot.
Remember, like your older brother's friends would roll you for that money at the end of the night?
Remember pretending it was going to UNICEF and you spent it?
Totally. Go buy some hot tamales.
16% of the people that said that the worst candy to receive at Halloween, Almond Joy.
That's the coconut one?
Yes. It's like Bounty.
It's so
Yeah.
gross. Oh, Bounty.
Right? Almond Joy has nuts. Mounds don't.
Right.
Yeah, that's gross.
And yeah, that's disgusting. And then how about this? Like, I don't even understand. Like, I think you're trying to like mess with the survey. Cadbury Cream Egg.
Okay,
Now,
there's what's going on.
I'm like, you're right. I would hate to receive that at Halloween. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with you.
I just think there's something wrong here with your list.
It's not my list.
I
Maybe you didn't hear
Googled
off the top when I said it was.
UNICEF. It's the little orange Halloween box that stopped a war.
Really?
Stopped a war.
Which war?
I don't know.
Hmm.
But it says it's was it the war on cavities? I don't know. But it's
Maybe.
a big deal. And so it used to.
Did you take a UNICEF box around?
Oh, all the time, yeah.
So did I. And there was a lot of pleasure bringing a weighty UNICEF box the next day. Like I really felt like a bit like a teacher's pet. Like,
Right.
hey, look at me. I did my due diligence.
Never did it. My lack of community involvement and volunteerism.
Anyone surprised?
No.
No.
Anyone surprised that this one over here didn't do it?
Did you even go out for Halloween?
I did, yeah.
Oh, yeah, because there was candy on the line. Well, hey, you were a big kid.
I was a big
Okay,
kid.
back me
So
up
what?
here.
What's that got to do with UNICEF?
Well, nothing. But you went for the candy. You didn't take a UNICEF box because that takes up real estate.
Did you notice that of all of the worst candies that I had listed, she didn't say one was gross?
Nice.
So with Halloween, like, you want to do a real quick would you rather?
Sure.
I'm going to go back and forth. Would you rather? This one's for Ryan. Ryan, would you rather attend a masquerade Halloween party or make DIY costumes at home with your friends?
With my friends?
Yeah.
As like a 48-year-old? Let's go with that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Shauna, would you rather host a Halloween cocktail party or a Halloween bake-off with spooky treats?
Shit.
Oh, you hate both.
Awful. The first one, I guess.
Right.
Yes.
You have to walk around with one of these for the rest of your life. Would you rather be inflicted with legit vampire teeth, okay, or a witch's mole?
Ooh, where's the mole?
At the end of your nose. That's where the witch's mole is.
Has to be.
The old witch's
Didn't you
mole.
have vampire teeth at one point?
Yeah.
No. He had a crowded mouth.
I had British teeth.
I love that band.
Crowded mouth? Hey now. Don't look at him, his teeth are ugly.
We have to take 5 out.
Yep.
His mouth is crowded.
Hey now.
He needs a permanent retainer.
I had braces for 4 freaking years.
Whoa.
You mentioned the war? It lasted less. Holy cow.
Shauna, would you rather be go trick-or-treating or hand out the candy?
Hand it out.
Of course, eh?
And then I shut her down.
Of course.
Real early.
Rye.
Yes.
Let's say you're doing this again, 48-year-old with your friends.
Okay.
With your other male friends in where you live.
All men, yes.
Would you rather be bobbing for apples,
We do that anyways.
Or-
me and the fellas in the hot tub. What?
carving pumpkins?
Bob for apples.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Although I will say, I love the smell of the inside of a pumpkin. No, but it's like your childhood.
Really?
Oh, you know how like is smell your like major? Is smell not your strongest sense?
No.
It's not.
I don't think so.
Well, it feels like it is. And
If
I
you're
tell
blind,
you, if
maybe.
you if
Come
you
on.
smell a pumpkin, it's gonna take you back to your childhood.
Because she's a psych major, she needs to know like the 5 senses are her major.
I just feel like you would know something like that in university. But you know what I mean? Like you smell that pumpkin. I'm gonna tell you right now. Smell that pumpkin and
Do
tell me.
you bring the hole right up to your nose?
Oh, it's a pumpkin. It's huge. It's big.
Someone told me to carve the pumpkin from the bottom.
Right.
Did you hear this?
Yes.
Are you some sort of online Instagram influencer?
Joe DM'd me. Told me that.
Hi, I saw it on Pinterest. It's a lot easier when the kids. Now, you ever seen the one where you you put the wine in the pumpkin and then you put the spout out the pumpkin?
Shauna, last one.
Yeah.
Hayride. Or pumpkin patch frolicking.
No.
Neither.
Why? No, you gotta
Neither.
pick one. There's no neither.
Oh, is the farmer cute that's doing the hayride?
Yeah, he's super hot, shirtless with just overalls on.
No, bring it.
That's the end of the first segment.
Shoot.
Hey now, Ryan's mouth is crowded.
Such British teeth. I don't want to do it. I love.
That's what you sounded like when you were 5.
Yeah, and then my teeth came out. I was like, oh, hi, I'm Ryan.
I lost the
Right?
accent.
This is me. This before my surgery and my braces. Oh, please don't look at me. I'm not an animal. I'm just a human with fresh teeth. And then they came out. I was like, hey,
Okay.
everyone. I love the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Oh, golly. Golly.
I know.
Hey now.
We often talk about on the podcast whether we are doing as good a job as our parents, whether they're better. They certainly didn't seem as stressed. So I saw this 10 old school parenting techniques that we should bring back. And I'm thinking maybe this will make us happier.
Okay.
Maybe they knew what they were doing. I won't go through them all because some of them are lame, but sitting down for family dinners. Do you guys still do that?
Not as much as we should.
We try. There's definite
How many
effort,
days a week?
3 to 4 days a
Yeah.
week.
Wow.
We might be one or two at our house.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's tough because sometimes sports get in the way.
Yeah.
And also sometimes I want to sit on the couch.
Well, here's the thing. One thing we've noticed recently is our kids, we fight a lot. It's a lot of bickering. It's a very loud family. So I put on The Purge the other day because it's, spooky season. Shut everybody up,
Right.
and we seem to bond over horror movies. So we're on to Scream now.
Sorry, The Purge, where for one night everybody gets to take out their grief on people via murder?
Yeah.
Interesting.
It was a little violent, but everybody was quiet.
A little violent.
Okay, so.
Well, what I would like to bring back, you're talking about parenting from the past, and we've talked about this before, but not on the podcast, is the old TV trays. When the Parkers got a little bit older, we always sat around the table when we were kids.
Same.
Now as got a little bit older, sometimes we're like, hey, night court's on tonight. And so we would all have TV trays in the family room. So we were together, but watching television.
I love the TV tray.
Yeah, it's
I would
great.
like to bring that tradition back.
Did you have the flower pattern TV trays or the teak pattern?
Flour
Yeah.
with sharp edges,
Yeah.
Of course.
which definitely cut at least one of us a week. And I believe was the start of COVID.
If you like tetanus and Salisbury steak, do I
yeah.
have a tray for you?
Yeah, totally.
Okay, number 2 that I'm going to mention that I think I don't do enough, letting children experience discomfort.
That's a tough one.
Our parents were way better at that. Like, I was very uncomfortable all the time.
So for example, Johnny's son peed in the bed last night. Let him sit in that for a while.
yeah,
right?
maybe.
Then you won't do it again.
What sort of discomfort are they talking about?
They're talking more about like anxiety, not getting what they want, being nervous. Like, we try to fix everything.
They say that a lot of kids don't know how to be bored nowadays.
Yeah.
Right? Everybody tries to do whatever. Being bored allows like their brains to come up with situations on how and solutions on how not to be bored. And I feel like maybe we jump in a little too quick. I 100% do. What can I do to stop your 17 seconds of boredom?
Well,
Yeah.
also, if I can add, you use the word anxiety. Now, my parenting skill is to take my kids to movies. And so they learn through somebody else. They learn through Inside Out 2. And what was interesting in that movie, if you are familiar with Inside Out and Inside Out 2, is they teach you that sometimes anxiety isn't always a bad thing. Sometimes you should be anxious about something because sometimes something's very important and it's normal to want to succeed. And so in the movie, I believe there's a couple reasons why she's anxious, but she's like trying out for a hockey team. Well, of course, like you have to take those emotions and control them, but understand it's not a bad thing. And that maybe you wanting something and being nervous and excited and anxious about it is okay. And use it to your advantage.
True. That's
Like,
so true.
Where one of the reasons she was anxious is that her mouth was crowded with too many teeth.
No, that was the sad
Something
emotion.
so strong, like Ryan's teeth enamel.
I'm going to bring that back.
Something so strong.
What band is that?
Crowded House. We like.
Sean only knew the one
I
hit.
only knew the one song. Okay,
Remember Crowded Mouth?
Yeah. It's good. It's a moment in time.
What's she doing here?
Next is, do you guys allow for unsupervised time? I mean, I'm great at this.
Oh my God, yes.
I don't supervise anything. I'm like, just go. I'm like Betty Draper. You know that scene where she's just smoking? Go play.
Oh, totally, 100%.
It's good for them.
Of course it is.
They say parents today, this is a Stanford University. They said parents who are over-involved, kids can't regulate their own emotions and behavior. So I think my kids are very good at regulation.
Yeah, the one thing I'm not is a helicopter parent.
No.
No, it drives me crazy when you see, like, you go to the park or whatever. And sometimes, I'll be honest with you, sometimes I think those parents want to be seen by other parents. Like, they
I
think
think
they're
so.
so great. Like, where was I the other day? And it was like a grocery store, and this woman was making such a spectacle over her child. I'm like, we get it. You got a kid. Like, it's okay. A kid's running around a little bit. People aren't judging. We were all kids, and a lot of us have had kids. But it's like, Skylar, come here, Skylar, this, Skylar, that. You're like, just let Skylar live their life, man.
I know. I think that's a good one. Now, this one I have a hard time with because I don't at all like reading to my kids. Replace screen time with physical books.
We read 2 last night before the piss incident.
Yeah. See, that's
Maybe that was it. Maybe that was a real leader into the urination.
So do you guys often skip pages? So like the book doesn't make sense, right? Because you just want to go to bed.
Yeah.
And so they're like, oh, and then this bed was too soft. Oh, look, everyone's happy.
Everyone's happy, and they're so smart when
Yeah.
they learn to read.
Oh yeah.
Try to delay that as long as possible.
That doesn't make sense.
Oh, look at this one. Make volunteering in your community a priority.
Yeah.
You do that, Johnny.
I do that. That's how they earn, at least Olivia earns allowances. Like you can go and make your bed and take out the garbage and whatnot, but that's just expected in the family. You're expected to do those things.
That's nice.
You want to go and make a difference in your community. You want to go pick up some trash with me. You want to go to a food bank. You want to go do that. That's how you earn your allowance.
Do you do a lot of volunteering in the park?
Not a lot, but we've done things like if there was an older woman on the street that needed some help sometimes, like shovel or whatever, or even like this sounds really nothing, but my kids did paper delivery, right? And so some of the older people, I would make sure like you take it to them, like don't just throw it, 15 feet from their house or whatever. You know what I mean? Like if you're older, you got it right up on your door.
Like in the winter, it's on the boulevard.
Yeah. But if you were 65 plus, I made sure they took it right to your door.
One time my kid helped an elderly neighbor, but then he came back with $20. He fleeced her.
Right.
So we're learning to help and to not charge.
Did you return it or just like lesson learned, just held on to it?
Edna should have been aware.
Yeah, makes sense.
And finally,
Fleeced her.
Manners. I think this is a
yes.
big one. I feel like the three of us are doing the manners thing because we were raised with it. I think that's got to continue. Please, thank you, not calling. What do you get your kids to call their friends' parents?
Okay, this one I don't. I'm old school and I would love Mr. and Mrs., but it sometimes you pass that moment.
Yeah.
And they say it once, right? They'll be like, "Oh, Anthony and Andrea," and then you're screwed. How do you get them to say Mr. and Mrs. whatever?
Our neighbors are younger than me. They're about the same age as my wife. And so
like university?
Yeah. Like you make it sound like it's a bad thing.
Well, listen.
He's jealous.
That's okay.
Sorry.
How's her English, by the way? Like she just came here from Ukraine.
She wasn't a consumer's distributing bride. Like she's a Canadian resident. Okay.
I know my husband old, but my kids volunteer. They taught me how to speak English.
Sorry. Are you Gru? Are you Gru from
He's
Minnesota?
reading picture books to his wife, not his
Anywho.
kids.
And
Did she pee on you too?
Sarah, Trevor had a red wagon. What's the adjective? In my country, we didn't have wagons or the color red.
What are you laughing at, Mike? Roz, everybody in the studio's like she's 10 years younger than me, and that's okay.
John, please, I can't go to Buffalo. I'm not allowed to drink. Please, let's spend the anniversary in St. Catharines, not Buffalo. I can't get in club.
I feel like, anywho, our neighbors are younger.
I like old Ryan. It reminds me of my family back in old country with teeth.
The neighbors are young too.
And so when we
He lives in a dorm.
I feel that if you were to call them Mr. and Mrs. whatever, they would turn it down.
Yeah.
Yeah, right, because they're younger.
That's
Like
my
my wife at the border. Right? Like my wife at the border.
He won't let me in over the border. I don't have quote-unquote right paperwork. But I love my old husband. His gray hair on the side. Very distinguished, reading glasses.
What was your point?
Okay.
Oh, manners.
Manners,
Yes.
yeah. Okay, let's just end it.
Astrovia.
Oh.
So silly. Okay, so as you guys have mentioned, it's spooky season. And so I'm in a bit of a dilemma because I have a 10-year-old, I have a 13-year-old, and a 15-year-old, and I've often joked that my wife definitely slept with the same man for the first and third kid because they're identical.
What was his name again?
Which one?
The man she slept with.
Oh, I think his name was like Terrence or something.
Yeah.
He wore one of those jackets that have like the elbow. I think he was a philosophy teacher at Western. No, anyway, so the first and the youngest look the same, act the same, and they have one interest together, and that's horror movies. Or like the little guy starting to get, like I remember when he was like 5 or 6, he's like, Georgie, want a balloon, Georgie? And I don't know what he's talking about. Turns out that was it.
Yeah. That was a huge one.
And so my middle son, my 13-year-old, he kind of hit and miss with this sort of stuff, but my older boy, my younger boy like it. Now, my older boy's 15, so it's okay because horror movies are often to deal with adult subject. And so Terrifier 3 is kind of the big movie out right now. And if you're unfamiliar with it, it kind of got some traction when it first came out in that people were like throwing up. It comes with puke bags. People were passing out. Theaters were putting up signs saying, listen, if you feel like queasy or whatever, we have medical professionals here. Listen, is part of it a little bit show maybe for the movie? I guess. We talked about it on our radio show. But I understand there were some people that were really struggling with it. So he really, really wants to go and see it. My 10-year-old wants to go see it. And I am a pretty loose parent. That's why I have 3 kids. Just give me some brandy. Daddy's ready to go. But I'm at loose in terms of rules. And I don't think so. He's way too young as a 10-year-old for Terrifier 3.
Because it's the grossness, right? It's not even the fear. Like there's some, apparently like my older son who's almost 17, he told me some of the scenes, like gross.
You know how people would complain about Coyote and Roadrunner, right? It's too violent. It's too crazy, dropping an anvil from a cliff on his head. But it was so gratuitous and so out there that you could never sort of imagine it actually happening. Right. So I'm like, what's the harm? Is this movie, and I haven't seen any of them, I'm not a horror guy whatsoever. Is it so out there that it can be plausible that there's no way this could ever happen?
Okay, so I'll give you an example. So we watched, myself, my 15-year-old said you can rent Terrifier 2. So I was like, let me watch that one with you, and we'll figure out what's going on. And so I'll give you a scene. This clown, he just kills people for no reason. He ends up killing a woman, spoiler alert, and he's inside her house. After he kills her, about 10, 15 minutes later, a bunch of kids come trick-or-treating. And so he comes out with candy, but he's serving the candy in the woman's head. And it's like hollowed out and there's candy in it. And the kids are reaching for the candy like, it's sticky.
Oh, I think that's gross.
So it's that kind of gore. And so we watched the second one. And so I definitely will let my 10-year-old. I will let my 15-year-old watch it because I actually did some research into this. And they asked like a child psychologist or whatever, this sort of stuff. Children's exposure to a variety of media, especially horror, can be an important opportunity to develop important neural pathways and explore complex emotions with safe guidance. That comes from a school psychologist. So it's funny, like, I'll be honest, in reading this article, they're a little more like, it's okay if they're okay, if you explain things to them. Also depends on your child, right? Like some kids grow up quicker or they don't get as bothered by that. It won't cause them nightmares. You have to have these sort of conversations. Yeah. But I'll be honest, when I Googled it, I thought it was going to be just a straight, no, they got to be 15. But it was like, no, they even said it like 6 to 7, you can start exploring like kind of more innocent, spookier things. And if you think about it, they go out on Halloween, right? And then, at each age group, you get a little bit more and more amplified and liberal with it. So
well, it does say that thing I said was more discomfort. That's uncomfortable, picking out candy from a woman's skull.
Yeah, right.
So for her or for you?
For all of us.
Yeah, I think for everybody, right? For the woman whose head is being used as a candy dish, discomfort at one time. And then,
right.
Then having to eat the candy. Yeah, I get it. It's discomforting for everybody.
I mean, do you guys remember? I remember watching like Nightmare on Elm Street and all those kind of movies. And one thing I have noticed, at least in my little bit of experience with the newer generation of horror movies, not as many boobies.
I was just going to say that. They're very lacking in that. For us, it was all tied in to boobs and nudity and camping.
Yeah. Like there's one scene in Terrifier 2 where the girl's having a shower and they cut to like, it was the 43rd minute, 15 seconds. and they show like a little bit of her side or rib or whatever, but they don't show anything. And I'm like, if this is 1984, that's being shown.
Like murder at sleepaway camp kind of stuff, right? Like that crazy thing. I don't know. I'm not, like I said, I don't remember it. It could be because I remember one birthday, I'm born in October, so right around Halloween. And I remember my dad in like 1981 going to the video store and renting the VCR and bringing it home with a briefcase and having to set it all up. Said, hey, why don't you invite a few kids and have a sleepover for your birthday? No problem. So we get downstairs and it's my birthday and in goes the tape and upstairs my dad goes, leaving, I don't know, 6 at the time. There's
6?
7 6-year-olds. we had to watch this movie called Night of the Living Dead.
Oh, wow.
Whoa.
The 1978 one where they go to the mall and the guy's on the motorbike with the sword chopping off zombies' heads. And I don't know if I could, talk to my therapist about the pinpoint, but where the tipping point was for me not liking horror, I'd probably go back to that night.
Right. Yeah, because you don't like it at all.
I don't. I can't watch Jaws by myself.
Really?
Yes, I don't.
What?
I don't. I'm very uncomfortable. I don't like the unknown.
What about like an M. Night Shyamalan movie? Can you watch those?
I have, and I haven't. I haven't been uncomfortable. But your movie that you just talked about there,
There's no way you'd
zero.
watch it.
Paranormal Activity, I'm good.
Right.
Saw, no thanks.
Well, the good thing is your wife's not old enough to watch these movies anyways.
If you have anything that you want to let us know about, any comments or suggestions for the Bad Parents podcast, like how much of an ass Rye is, you can email us, badparents@curiouscast.ca. And that's this edition of it. I'm going to tell Sarah everything you said, by the way.
Oh, please. I want to see Terrifier 3. Buy ticket for me. Sneak in.